Those are the strains of Symphony Number 3 by Saint-Saëns. You hear in the background the organ part. And it's what you missed if you didn't tune into the live stream yesterday from the Finnish Philharmonic. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live, here to bring you the weekend highlights for this weekend. And there are so many. There are over 21 live performances online this weekend to tell you about. And that's not all of them. There's more than that. There's some that we couldn't find. There's some that are very difficult to retrieve. There are some that didn't make the cut. And there are even more than that. And so I'm here to tell you about them all. And what I'm going to do in this live stream is go over each of the days. Today, Friday, March 21st, Saturday, March 22nd, and Sunday, March 23rd, and just go over for you the plethora of live streams that we have on the calendar, so to help you make a decision. And if you want more detail on any of the live streams that I tell you about, you can go back to our chamber music roundup and our big guns, orchestral and opera music roundups earlier in the week and get more detailed descriptions of any or all of these performances. So I'm trying not to be distracted by this gorgeous music. But anyway, and already there was yesterday's the Helsinki Philharmonic playing Saint-Saëns' majestic Symphony Number 3. Also on Thursday, Paris Opera Play was live streaming production of Péléas and Mélisande. So the long weekend got off to a great start. Let me start to tell you then about Friday's schedule. But before I go any further, let me remind you once again that if you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe button, which is in the lower right-hand corner of the video at the end. If you're watching on the other platforms, please subscribe or follow Access Arts Live on X, TikTok, Threads, or Instagram. Thanks in advance. And here are some photos of some of the great live streams going on already today, Friday. The first of them starts in a few hours' time, a couple hours from now, 8 o'clock European time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast, noon on the West Coast. It's the Cologne Funkhausorchester, what you could call the Cologne Pops, doing a concert, which is a literary or theatrical kind of concert. It's called In Orpheus's Footsteps. And a very well-known German thespian, Elke Heidenreich, will be talking us through the following in the footsteps of the Greek hero Orpheus, with music from Offenbach to Reinhard May. Now, at the same time, at 8 o'clock in the evening, if that it does not appeal to you, the Pablo Heras-Casado conducts Bruckner's Mass Number 3 in a live stream coming from the orchestra in Stuttgart, with soprano Erika Baikoff and tenor Sebastian Kohlhepp in the production. Now, if you follow our live streams, then you will have already heard and enjoyed Erika Baikoff last week with March Vivo, or singing Russian melancholic songs. And you know Sebastian Kohlhepp because he was the tenor in back in February of a live stream of Mozart's cantata David Penitente. If even that doesn't satisfy you, there's more. Stage Plus at 8:15 European time, which is 3:15 then on the East Coast, 12:15 on the West Coast, will be live streaming a concert by the Rotterdam Philharmonic. And that will be Yannick Nézet-Séguin conducting. He was the chief conductor at Rotterdam for about a decade, and now he's the honorary conductor there, the emeritus conductor. They'll be doing Strauss's 4 last songs, Vier letzte Lieder, with the American soprano Angel Blue. And yes, they'll be doing some more Bruckner. They'll be doing Bruckner's Symphony Number 3. And for some reason, we may be having technical problems because I do not see my own. I don't see my own image on the screen here, so I'm not sure what is going on with this live stream. There, now my image is back. Who knows what that was all about? We'll have to. I'll have to ask the people at Restream about that. So that's Angel Blue there in the lower, in the bottom row, the second from the right. She's an American soprano. Now, if that doesn't satisfy you, no, there's still more. Okay, let's say you don't want to hear Bruckner's Mass. You don't want to hear Bruckner's Third Symphony. There's been an awful lot of Bruckner being played since September. It's the 150th anniversary or something. Then you have another opportunity. Now, it's a moment when the Polish violinist and concertmaster Maria Wozowska is going to be leading the Royal Northern Sinfonia through 8 different works of Bach. Extracts from cantatas, concertos, chaconnes, and finishing up with orchestral suite number 3 in D major. And that's live streaming at 8:20 European time, which is 3:20 on the East Coast and 12:20 on the West Coast. So, if you want to hear some Bach, which some people consider early music and others don't, I must admit, you could just wait and listen to that. But if even that doesn't satisfy you, there's still more, because at 8 o'clock Brazilian time, which will be, what will that be? That'll be 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 4 o'clock on the West Coast. Midnight in Europe, so you have to stay up for it. The Sao Paulo Orchestra is back because they're over their summer break now, and they'll be live streaming an evening of American music, including Bernstein's Symphony Number 2, the Age of Anxiety Symphony for orchestra and solo piano, and Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. And they have the terrific originally Canadian, but now Bostonian pianist Marc-Andre Hamelin at the keyboards. And if you want to hear piano by Bernstein and Gershwin played right, it's hard to do better than Marc-Andre Hamelin. But I think what's interesting about this concert is, but it's with a Brazilian symphony. So what will that Brazilian sensibility add to this performance? And once again, if you've been following our live streams, there was a live stream from the Chopin Institute with Marc-Andre Hamelin in September. There was he was playing Mozart with the Sao Paulo Orchestra live streamed in November, and then at the beginning of December, Stage Plus live streamed him playing Duke Ellington and Aaron Copland, again doing double duty with the Cleveland Orchestra, and he's doing double duty tonight with the Sao Paulo Orchestra, because he's playing both in Bernstein Symphony Number 2, which is for orchestra and solo piano, and in Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue in the second half of the program. So that's a heck of a program to check into. Of all the ones going on in the evening, well, if you're a great choral lover, the Bruckner's Mass is great, but I think this is the one which may show the most mastery and also be the most fun. But that's not all, because if none of that satisfies you, okay, even later, if you want to stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning in Europe, 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 5 o'clock on the West Coast, 11 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, you can tune into the live stream from Roulette Intermedium Theater in New York City. All of these are free of charge that I've mentioned to you. And see Sally Silvers' new piece, You Better. Now it's being live streamed both. It was live streamed last night, Thursday night, tonight, and tomorrow night, and I believe it's the same performance each night. They're just live streaming it 3 times, and Sally Silvers has been around for I think at least 40 years. Winning awards and getting support from the Guggenheim Foundation, and she has her own She has her own dance company. She's choreographed 3 musicals for the Sundance Theater Festival. She's co-directed 2 award-winning dance films, Little Lieutenant and Mechanics of the Brain. She's received support from the NEA, the New York Foundation for the Arts. She's done composer-choreographer projects with Bruce Andrews and John Zorn and the Foundation for Contemporary Performance Arts. She's done it all. Now, this is dance to music by Bruce Andrews and Michael J. Schumacher. That is electronic music. And then selected works of Bruce Andrews and Michael Schumacher as well. So, and how many dancers do they have in the sequence? I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dancers and someone on skates. And this piece is a reimagining of a history of the oldest known woman who was an author named Enheduanna, a woman from 2300 BC in Mesopotamia, and it's sort of step by step going through the story of her, but you got to understand that this choreographer is known for being quirky and highly intelligent and iconoclastic. So that's what you have to finish off your Friday night if you last that long. Okay. Then we move on from Friday night to Saturday. And I have a whole different set of pictures for Saturday because it's more. All right, Saturday, we have a whole series. Again, there'll be 2 occasions for enjoying dance, which I'm very happy about because we're interested in all of the performing arts, not just classical music. So how does this start out? Well, you can start out your Saturday morning at noon in Europe with March Vivo live streaming Songs of Life and Death from Latin America. And that's sung by Maria Miro, a Barcelona soprano who she's a top soprano in Spain, regularly appearing in top venues like Teatro Real and things like that. And the accompanist is Anna Crexels, who has a distinguished career specifically as an accompanist, which can make so much difference for a singer. And then there will also be text involved with an award-winning actress, Flor Saravi, who's originally from Argentina, but she's had her career in Spain. They'll be doing music, songs of life and death by Revueltas, Villalobos, Leon, Piazzolla, and Carlos Gustavino. That's how you can start off your day if you want to get up at 7 in the morning on the East Coast, or stay up till 4 in the morning on the West Coast. Then later in the day, well, much later in the day, it's getting on to the evening in Europe, but noontime on the West Coast and mid-afternoon, 3 o'clock on the East Coast, the Frankfurt Radio Symphony is live streaming what they call a music discovery project. And they'll be doing that with a German pop band called Clock Clock, which they're originally from Mannheim. We're told they have had 3 number 1 hits in the German radio charts in the last few years. And the conductor, though, is Frank Strobel, who's artistic director of the European Film Philharmonic. So he has very, film cinematic sensibility. So if you bring together a pop sensation band in Germany and someone with cinematic sensibilities, well, you're going to get 21st century music. Okay. Now, a little later after that, several hours later, we have, again, another dance opportunity live stream coming from the Kennedy Center. At 6 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, Saturday, March 22nd, the Kennedy Center Millennium Stage live streams the Sound Express Dance Company, putting on a production called An Exhale of Hope for beginning and aspiring dancers and choreographers. And Sound Express specializes in nurturing emerging artist choreographers. And this is a showcase for young up-and-coming dancers and choreographers aged 11 to 35. And what Sound Express does is they guide aspiring choreographers through the whole composition process, how to find the narrative and story they want to tell and develop professional level choreographic skills. So if that interests you, it's free of charge on the Millennium Stage. Then a little later in the evening, if you want to stay up late till 1 in the morning in Europe, but at 8 o'clock classic orchestral times, Yader Bigna-Mini teams up with concertmaster Robin Bollinger and veteran cellist Wei Yu Saturday, March 22nd to play Brahms's Double Concerto and Beethoven's Pastoral Sixth Concerto. That's a double concerto for violin and cello. Robin Bollinger is the newly appointed concertmaster of the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. She's been with them for some years, and Wei Yu has also been with them for some years. Previously, Wei Yu for 7 years with the New York Philharmonic, but he's been with Detroit now for a decade. He does a solo with them every year, and he teaches at Northwestern University School of Music. Robin Bollinger is interesting because she does multimedia performance projects. She's got one called Giacona, The Bass of Time, and these get released as DVDs or CDs, and she's working on a new one called Encore, Just One More. So that could be an interesting concert. Now, after that's over, though, if none of that has satisfied you, once again, Roulette Intermedium Theater will be live streaming Sally Silvers's You Better, Night 3. And we're on finally to Sunday evening. Whew. Wasn't sure how to get through all of these, but I think we'll get through all of them in a reasonable period of time. We will also probably I will let you know that our favorites among these, I will probably put up separate clips out of the earlier roundups during the week in which I have time to go into more detail. But with 21 of these to get through in this live stream, it was just overwhelming. I'm very happy about it, but it's overwhelming. Okay, what do we have on Sunday? On Sunday, the thing is, Friday was mostly symphonies. Saturday was sort of balanced between the two. Sunday is mostly live streams of chamber music of different kinds. It does start out, the Deutsche Radio Philharmonic in Saarbrücken, Kaiserslautern, is doing an early Sunday morning. It must be a Sunday brunch time concert at 11 o'clock European time, 6 in the morning on the East Coast, and etc. 9 in the evening in Australia, called Ringen Vollendung, which is striving for perfection. They're doing Bartók's Piano Concerto No. 3 and Bruckner's Symphony No. 3 in D minor. If that interests you, if you're up for a symphony that early on a Sunday morning, even in Europe, it's early. That will be followed at noon by March Vivo, back with their usual Sunday noontime concert. This time it's the Sunday noontime concerts are always for young performers. This time it's for Anneliese Paul-Tlopek, and she's doing French art song and chanson. That is to say, she'll be singing art songs by people like Viardot and Poulenc, but she'll also be singing more songs from the French chansonnier tradition by people like Hubert Giraud or Jacques Brel. And the pianist is Federico Thibon, for those of you who keep track of accompanist. Then a few hours later, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Europe, 11 in the morning on the East Coast, 8 in the morning on the West Coast, St. Mary's Perryville comes along with their Sunday weekly live stream of recital and chamber type music. This time it's a group called the Chamber Music Collective, which consists of 2 violins, a viola, a cello, and a piano. They'll be doing Mozart's duo for violin and viola viola in G, and Brahms's piano quintet in F minor. And St. Mary's Perryville, it's always a high quality live stream. And the nice thing about it is they have a great chat box with people in it from all over the world, from Greece to Sweden, to France, to Canada, to the US, to Brazil. I mean, people just log in from all over the place. And it's a great opportunity for me, especially when I log in as Access Arts Live, to learn more about the music musicologically than I myself know. I mean, I'm basically a song and dance man, but doing this to promote the sharing of live performances around the world by global audiences, because I believe in it. So, and most of the live streaming being done now happens to be done with classical music. But the more, as this continues, hopefully there'll be more of opera and ballet and theater coming along as well. Later this year, in June, there'll be a big theater festival coming from CBU in Romania, where they live stream a lot of theater pieces. So that'll be great. So now we're moved on to Sunday. And that's right, we're in the middle of Sunday. And that was just a little digression, folks. So after the St. Mary's Perryvale live stream, then a little later in the day, 6 o'clock European time, 1 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and 10 in the morning on the West Coast, the Cincinnati Pops is doing a concert themed the Harlem Renaissance. And they're doing that together with the Marcus Roberts Trio and the Modern Jazz Generation Group. And they're playing everything from Irving Berlin to Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway. So if you're looking for a good time, call the Cincinnati Pops. That will be a good time, guaranteed. Now, that's at 6 in the evening European time. And as I said, 1 o'clock on the East Coast. But if that doesn't suit you, then you can just wait an hour, and the Berlin Philharmonic is live streaming a concert called Romantic Music with Zubin Mehta, an esteemed established conductor, and Himari. Himari is a 13-year-old Japanese violinist. Anyway, that's not free of charge. That's one of the few, I think that's one of only 2 of all these 21 live streams where you have to pay for it, a minimum of €9.90 for a 1-week ticket. They'll be doing Weber's Overture to Oberon, and Himari then will be playing on the Concerto for Violin and Orchestra No. 1 by Wieniawski. And then in the second half, they'll come back and play Schubert's Symphony No. 9 in C major, the great Schubert Symphony. But that's not all. There is still more coming along for you on Sunday. This is hardly even the beginning. Now, there are a couple of churches that have in the past been doing organ recitals, which we always include in our weekly organ recital listings. And this week, as I was compiling those, I found out that these two churches are doing Lenten style, or, well, they're doing concerts, put it that way. One of them is Lenten. And the first of these is the Riverside Church in New York City. And they're live streaming a concert called Alma Latina. That means the Latin soul, Latin American art song. This is with a multi-talented mezzo-soprano from Mexico, Sichelle Claverie, who's been involved, if you look at her bio, she's been involved in opera, musical theater, new music, these sort of multi-art collaborations and all. She'll be singing songs from Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, Peru, and beyond. And the New York Times tells us she's an alluring, smoky-toned mezzo, whereas the Houston press says that she's a force of nature. I think the Houston people know her because she's done work with the Houston Opera. But anyway, that might suit you. that might suit your mood. Now, if it doesn't, well, then an hour later at 7 o'clock European time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast, 2 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 on the West Coast, Truro Cathedral in Cornwall is live stream a concert for Lent. And this one is, they tell us it's moving, haunting, devotional music. It's songs by Arvo Pärt, Antonio Vivaldi, Marco Rossano, he's contemporary, born 1964, and Philip Moore, who I think is still around, but he's like 80 years old. And it's a countertenor, Colin Wilson, accompanied by a set of strings, about 7 strings, led by Phil Montgomery Smith. And if all of that still hasn't satisfied you, well, there's more. If you wait a little longer, there's even more. The Philadelphia Chamber Music Society is live streaming a concert called Women's Voices from Eastern Europe. And this is with violinist Itamar Zorman and pianist Yeva Yakubovičiūtė. And they're both Eastern Europeans themselves. This will be at 8 o'clock European time. 3 o'clock on the East Coast, noon on the West Coast. They'll be doing pieces by Kapralova, Pejachevich. I don't know either of those authors. Gubedulin, whom of course we know, her Dancer on a Tightrope. Bachevich's Slavonic Dance and Vitraz, which means stained glass window, and Auerbach. And if even that has not satisfied you, there's still one more. No, there's one more live stream coming to us this Sunday, and this live stream is from Wigmore Hall. It's Cedric Pescia and Philippe Cassard. They're doing. They're two pianists, so this is a piano duo. They're doing Schubert's Fantasy in F minor and Beethoven's Symphony No. 9 in D minor, as it was arranged by Franz Liszt to be played on two pianos. Cedric is he's from Switzerland. He's a professor of piano at the Haute École de Musique in Genève. And Philippe Cassard, he's a long-time accompanist as a specialty, who's done things like toured with Nathalie Dessay, like this top French singer. So top of the mountain. So that's what we have for you this weekend. 21 different live streams of performances of all kinds. And I just want to mention one more thing before I forget it, and that's on Monday night. There's a live stream coming from La Scala Philharmonic with Daniel Gatti conducting Webern's Langsamer Satz, Wagner's an arrangement of an orchestral tribute to Wagner called Die Meistersinger, arranged by Henk de Vlieger, and Alvenberg's Concerto for Violin and Orchestra, to the memory of an angel, with Frank Peter Zimmermann on the violin. It's a very full weekend, folks. I hope that one, more, some, or any of these inspired you, or are uplifting to you, or just show you a heck of a good time. And before I leave you, I want to remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, click the like button on the video. On YouTube, click the subscribe button at the end. And on our other platforms, follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads. And in return, you will get the live links to more than 1,000 live performances online in 2025. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Ciao for now, and I'll be back on Monday with the usual weekly roundup of the big guns, the orchestral and operatic works. There's a lot coming up next week, so tune in. That'll be at 6 in the evening European time, noon on the East Coast, and 9 in the morning on the West Coast. Ciao.